Good morning, Flosstube. It's Pam, stitching between the lines. Today is Friday, November 1st, 2024, and this is Flosstube number 143. My book right here, so I can see, listed out my whips. So got myself in order, and hopefully I got everything all organized. I have everything like kind of spread out, or lined up on the floor next to me, so we can talk about what happened in October. October was not a good stitching month. I feel like I kept calling it Slogtober because everything I picked up felt like such a slog. I did not have a big focus piece because I was determined to finish Cute Pattern by Maria's Holiday in a Bottle. Excuse me. My iron was clicking, it's still on. Oh, and I'm wearing another one of my son's designs of a t-shirt. He's a graphic designer with the Humane Society of the United States. It's funny, I keep my t-shirt supply stocked up because of the ones when he designed them in the first place with other people. Other people did them too. And he had 3 designs, I think, and I have all of those. Be kind to animals, some things. I get them on Amazon. You have to go to the Humane Society of the United States, which is an international organization, not like your little local Humane Society, bigger, broader, does bigger things. And anyway, I went to freshen up my supply, and I found new styles. And I sent him a text. I'm like, did you design this one? And he says, I think so. Like, I think so. Think so. He said, well, we submit when they want designs, we submit them, and then time goes by and you don't even know what they've picked. It wasn't quite the big deal the first go round where they were doing all the photo shoots and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I thought this one was cool. I liked it. So yeah, Amazon, Humane Society of the United States. So yeah, okay, back on track. Got my iron turned off and my book of days in front of me. And I was griping about October's stitching. I stitched, okay? That's every day that I stitch is a good day. There were days I didn't get to stitch, just that it was that kind of month. But my book of days I don't write those things in here. That's my planner, calendar for my everyday life. So anywho, yeah, let's get back on track. So what did I do? Where are we starting? Should we start with the whips? Yeah, let's start with the whips. So I worked on what I've been working on a little bit every month since I started it, Carolyn Manning's Beachcomber. I'm so in love. I could work on this every day. Every day. What happens in my world is I get up very, very early in the morning, too early to like really officially start your day. Nobody should be up at that hour doing, emptying the dishwasher and that kind of stuff, unless you have to. I understand. I had a bunch of kids. I did things early in the morning so I could go to work and blah, 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 blah. I don't need to do all that anymore. Anywho, I'm up really early. It's still dark out. And I like to have a little something to work on, maybe before I'm fully awake. So it needs to be something I can see easily. And this being done on 14 count Ada is just that thing. So, I showed my back. Should I be horrified when I rewatch this? We're gonna see if I edited that out. If you don't see the back, then I was horrified. I was trying to figure out which way was up. So when it was a focus piece, excuse me, we can do a better job. When it was a focus piece, I'm not gonna press everything all the time because that's just not good for it. When it was a focus piece, I started in the middle and then I worked up and did this whole quadrant plus some other little bits and pieces here and there. And then every month I've been trying to do about 2,000 stitches so that I can finish it in July of next year, which I think I started it in July of this year. And so I'm kind of working my way down. But when I have thread, like if I pull a stretch of floss and it's got 6 strands and I'm stitching with 2, I'll kind of try to work my way through all 3 of them, all 3 pairs. And so if I'm doing this color, for example, I will look around somewhere in an area where maybe it touches and I'll put that in. So while I did this in a month, I'm dragging this out because I'm going all over the place with it. I don't think maybe if I focused exclusively on only doing this, like the middle would come right down here. I could probably finish this in November, but that's not really my goal. I just really like working on it, so I'm just enjoying it. I could work on it a lot more, but I really do try to stay true. It's technically 1900 and some odd stitches, so I try to stay true to that number. But in October, for example, because I count, but sometimes at the end of a day, I want to just keep working for a little while before it's time to put stitching away. And so I go over. I'm not saying like tonight I have to do 56 stitches and that's it. I will stitch until I'm ready to be done. And I did 2,045 this month. And last month I did 2,257 in September. So it just how it works out. So yeah, so be done by July if I don't see me falling off this wagon. You never know. Stranger things have happened. I crave working on it every month, which is good. That keeps you going, keeps me interested. So that's my long-term monthly plan whip, which is working out okay. And then I worked on my mystery, my Caterpillar Crossings Holly Jolly Kitchen, Holly Jolly Baking, Holly Jolly Christmas mystery, Caterpillar cross stitch. Every other Tuesday, a section comes out. And so far, I've done 2, 3. The center was the first one. This stuff was the next one. And now up across here was the third one. And then the next section came out this past Tuesday. And I did not start it because I was close to a finish on something I'll show you in a minute, and it was a toss-up. This will probably get done in November, depending on the Tuesdays. There should be a part on the 11th and a part on the 25th, and I think that's it. And as long as I kind of stay on track, I will finish this in November. So I let this one go, but it'll be what I work on starting today with its newest installment. So Caterpillar Crossings Holly Jolly Christmas Mystery. Did get one section work done, right? In October, or was it 2? That came out. Probably 2 because one section came out on September 30th. And that was the day I made Flosstube. So probably those 2 sections I showed you were officially October whips. I'm looking at what's down there to make sure I've covered myself. I had worked on 2 more things, which I actually finished, so that'll come up in a minute. And I had a new start. I know, right? A new start. Whoops, I showed you the pattern a tiny little bit. I saved out my other iPad because here's the thing. The pattern is in a page protector flipped inside out, so I can see it through there because it's on both pages, both sides. And we'll talk about that, why that is in a minute. It is the Prairie Schoolers Christmas samplers, and I'm doing the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas one in the middle. This is my Always Have a Prairie Schooler going, which I sort of fell off the wagon on doing, and really, I've been wanting to start this one. I had to kind of mess around finding some fabric that I wanted to use, but here's where I got on about, I don't know, a day and a half of work, maybe. Some letters, and I started down with the straight line that leads into the quilt, which is going to be more intense than I thought. I thought that would be like, I'd be able to bang that right out, but it just seems to not end. But yeah, that doesn't even talk about the headboard, which when I look at it, I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of stitches, but just plain things. So Prairie Schooler, I love and have a nice collection of. This is the first one that I have worked with. That's the reprint. And let me tell you, whoever's reprinting these and making money off of them should be ashamed of themselves. And I know anybody who's done it or anybody who's watched a Flosstube of people doing it, same story. It is on the cheapest copy paper, cheapest, absolute cheapest copy paper that is available. Considering what a nice cardstock the originals came on and what crap this comes on, and they're charging the same price, it cannot even cost a whole penny more to print this on better quality paper. It can't be. I mean, that is just, I hope they've heard the people complain. Hoffman, I don't know. I don't want to say any names. Because I don't know who, but I know they're the distributor. Does that mean that's who's packaging them? Should be ashamed. Should be ashamed of themselves. So yeah, not pulling that in and out of its little page protector and flipping the page around, because I'm relying on the seam, the pattern that runs across the seam, to be legible when I get there. So what did I finish? I finished two things. Now here's one reason why I dilly-dallied and touched things that weren't really, I put a few stitches in something else that I didn't even bring over here because it was just so negligible, but it was one evening of short little evening of stitching, because I didn't want to do this one. So I was determined I wasn't doing anything fun until this was done. Cute Patterns by Maria, Holiday in a Bottle, Agony. It was agony. And the excuse me, the reason it was agony was the pattern doesn't make any allowances for what would be fractional stitches to make a curve like this, or to make curves like in the ribbons anywhere. And when I saw that in the finished picture, I can see where there's X's that overhang the edges, and I just couldn't make myself do it. So I did this, outlined it, and then filled it in, and it was fussy and blah blah, but it looked okay in the end. And then I didn't ever want to pick it up, and I thought to myself, just stitch it how they stitched it and outlined it how they outlined it, and get on with your life, which I have done. There are 10 different outlining, I don't know what I want to say, choices in the key. Some of them are like a black, like 310, a single strand, and then 310, a double strand, and then it just goes up 10 different things. It just seems so excessive. But in the end result, this came out beautiful. I was working away on this. I'm just looking at the pattern, doing it. I don't know what color the symbols are. I'm just doing it because you do like a bunch of one color here and a bunch of another color here, and just working away on it and not really looking at what I was doing. And it was laying on my, I don't know, somewhere near my chair or whatever, and I suddenly glanced at it and I thought, oh my gosh, that outlining on that bits of ribbon is just perfect. So thank heavens I wasn't off by a row, because I really didn't know what I was stitching. I was just doing it. Like count down 3 and go over 10 and then drop down and then go, you know, like that. Not even paying attention to the details. So it really came out fabulous. I might have made it more work than it needed to be, but I don't know. Did it? It's gorgeous. I have no idea exactly what I'm going to do with it. I don't know. We'll see. Framing or not, or what, or something. I don't know. So, yay me. That is my almost oldest whip. My Heaven and Earth Design is the oldest, and then followed by Rural Post Office at Christmas, which is intense, which I will have out again one of these days. I don't think it's going to be this month, November. So, yay, happy me. I'm just looking through my list to see, like, I put them all in like date order, but why do I feel like Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut? There's no way it's older than some other things on here. I'm gonna have to check that again. I may have started that and just ignored it for a year. Could be why. I didn't work on it. I haven't worked on it. I almost got it out and just to fill in like some house roof or something just to stitch, but I told myself I needed to buckle down and get Holiday in a Bottle done. And then I started this in September. I finished my Mill Hill Buttons and Beads. Hot Cocoa, is that what it is? Santa's Treats is technically its name. Holy cow, is that some intense stitching? There's over 5,000 stitches in here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a good one. That was intense, but I was rolling on like I had here not done on about Tuesday. I don't know. I had a whole bunch of it not done when Tuesday rolled around, and the new part of the Caterpillar Crossing Christmas Mystery, Holly Jolly Christmas Mystery came out, and I thought if I buckle down, I had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and get it done. Yesterday was an intense day of stitching. Wednesday, I think I didn't stitch at all. Some days, just too many other things to do, and I'm so tired by evening, I just can't do it. So there it is. It's done. I've done Mill Hill. I did my first Mill Hill. My son he'll be 32 next week. I was pregnant for him the first time I ever did a Mill Hill. So I've done Mill Hill for a lot of years. This is the first big one I did. This is the second one. So of all the Mill Hills, yeah, I hadn't really done the big ones. This one I started, I think, in 2017 and finished in like 2020. And I have some of the frames. My recollection is, I have to look for them, but my recollection is I bought 3 frames, one of like 3 different colors. So this one, the photo shows it in a red frame. So if that really ends up being the best option, I need to order a frame for it. But I will look. I'm pretty sure I have a green one. I don't know what other color I would have. Maybe a blue one. So we'll have to look and see if one of them will do. So yeah, yay me. I bought this on Etsy from, I think, a Ukrainian Etsy shop. They're not cheap. Can't really tell you where it came from. Right away, I think like one of the first days I used it, a little sliver of that came off. It's like laser cut, and it almost has that feeling of like a balsa wood, like it's layers of it probably glued together. But other than that, it didn't do it anymore, and it held everything really well. Somebody was talking about having to find somewhere to buy one that fit them better. So I don't know. This is the only one I could find, and it fit pretty well. I could do it, and I learned the hard way when I did this one that you need to draw an X on the back of your paper so you know where the center is, because hello, center challenged me, did not get the other one centered correctly. Another thing, another tip that evolved with this project was to have 2 of these. This is a tacky bob. I don't know if this is or not, the tacky bill, the new one that came out to replace the tacky bob, but when I went to get this one out of the package, it was a tacky bob. Smaller than I recall them being, but whatever. It's what it works for me. But these patterns, even the small ones, often come with 2 bags of beads, and there's a little asterisk on the pattern that says which beads are in which pouch. So this is the one that's white and green and red, so you know that's the bag. So I did a lot of the beading as I went just to keep it interesting. And so I was constantly scraping up the beads and putting them back in the package so that I could pour some of the other package out onto the sticky surface of the tacky bob. And I thought, oh, I've got another one of these here somewhere, so I can empty out each separate bag on its own. And so to me, that's an invaluable investment, is to have a couple of those if you're doing Mill Hills. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. I have I don't want to say vast, I have a nice collection of Mill Hills, so I really need to make an effort to pull another one out. I don't think it's going to be a big one. I think maybe I'll try a smaller one next time, just so that it doesn't feel so intense. So there's my whips and my finishes and my new start. And I have one FFO from eons ago. I don't even know when. I could look it up if anybody really cares, but I don't think you do. When I finished this on the beach collection, tra-la-la. So cute. I did it a couple years ago. I remember talking about not being able to figure out what the heck one of the things was. So I was at Hobby Lobby, and I came across this, in the summer, but it was probably I don't know, a spring thing. I have no idea. It was on the shelf for like 1,000,000% off. Like 75% was a minimum off, and it was pink. I didn't. The pink was really bright, so I went and bought spray paint and did this. I knew the spray paint wasn't going to be a perfect match, but I think it's cute. It's cute, and yeah. So that was a good fun finish. So that's my stitching for October, and November will involve my beachcomber. And I was thinking about, thoughts are swirling around of what else I'm going to pull out. I think another not giant major one that I started last December, I think. First days of January, I started a couple things real close together and haven't worked on them since. One of them is finished and framed in somewhere in this house. I don't know. In the last several months of my Flosstubes, it was a finish. That, and then I've been thinking about WhipGo. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys are on my ironing board. And I just kicked it. Nice thing about the ironing board is I can like change its level. And it's another surface for me to put stuff on because, you know, my little craft room looks like I'm a hoarder, which could be legit. So WhipGo. I did WhipGo in 2023 and I enjoyed it. I have talked about the things that felt to me like a problem. Because I don't have 24 whips and I didn't want to put, you know, I don't know. I doubled up a lot of things that were like a big project. And then sometimes they would be called in the same month. Well, I want my big project to be what I focus on for the entire month. So I felt like it got cheated out of being the focus piece for 2 months out of the year. So yes, I could have, you know, decided that if that happened to roll forward to the next available number or whatever, but I was just playing the game, doing the things. So when 2024 rolled around, I did not do WhipGo. And then I kind of missed it. I kind of missed that that randomness of a pattern or a piece being picked. And, you know, I don't have any real requirement for how much I worked on it. Just work on it. Sometimes that's all. Just work on it. It could be, if it was a major piece pulled and a minor, that's what I call them, majors and minors. If it was a major piece, I could work on it the whole month, and if it was a minor piece, it could be my second piece. That's usually what I have in a month, is a major and a minor piece. And I'm perfectly happy. Often I could finish the minor piece within that month. But then it would be like 2 major pieces picked, or the same major piece picked twice, or whatever. Or I was traveling a little bit in 2023 and I finished one of the pieces that was on my board way before it was ever called. And then you have to decide, is that just, yay me, I don't have to work on number 14 this month, or I should replace it with a new start. I don't know, whatever. Obviously, my board, my rules, my blah, blah, blah. I understand all the things, but that was the first year I ever did it. And I was just kind of trying to stay true to it. So I was thinking about what I might do in 2025. I don't have a big number of whips, and I like that. But I also don't start a lot of stuff, and I don't like that. I like to kit things up. To me, I think that means it's like on deck. It's ready to roll. I can grab it quick. But then I don't really do that very often. So 2025 WhipGo is going to be WhipGrow for me. I heard somebody else mention it. I'm like, did they read my mind? I kind of mentioned it in passing. I've told a couple people what I'm going to do, kind of. So 25 places on the board, just like a bingo card. The middle one is a free. So I started going through, and in no time flat, had 24 things picked out. A lot of them were kitted. Some of them needed fabric, some of them needed thread, 1 or 2 needed both, and I kitted them up, but you have to wait to come back to December before I'm going to show them to you. In my December video, I will show you what will be my WhipGrow for 2025 and what I plan to do. I don't plan to incorporate anything that's already on my whip list, things that are whips already in my world, which this is not intended to be a whip parade, but I think there's 14 on here. I'm going to start something new on my birthday for sure. So my whips, I'm not going to put those on there. I'm just going to have those, and that's what I choose to work on. If what's picked in my whip go board, I start those two things and want to keep going, I keep going. If I don't, I don't. And then as I pare down what's on this list, which it's going to take a while because my Heaven and Earth design pattern is mostly neglected, but it's still very much in my heart. And there's a few other things on here that are just long-term patterns. I mean, Beachcomber should be finished in 2024. The Holly Jolly Christmas Mystery in 2024. The Prairie Schooler shouldn't take that terrible long. Halloween Night, Madame LaFay is more involved. The Summer Sampler by Sandy Orton is more involved. And then the other ones, not so much. Land That I Love, I got a huge amount done in the month that I had it be my focus. I don't think I'm halfway done, but maybe. It's one of the reasons why I almost pulled it out and worked on some of the roof of one of the houses, is just to, just to kind of inch that one along. So my whip go board, what I would like to do is 24 new starts. The free square is free whether I decide to, when it's called, whether I decide to start something else or not, or just is yet to be determined. I'm also not saying I won't start anything that's not on that list. But my whip go board, I'd like to continue with whatever was in box 1 and box 10 and box whatever. If it's not done, that will go forward to the next year. And then any blank spaces will be new starts. It's a lot like how some people do the Mania boards, where whatever was their Mania start on May 1st or 2nd or whatever continues to be what they work on May 1st or May 2nd, and so on and so on. And any blank spots are filled in with new starts. So that is what I'm thinking. And I'm actually excited about it and looking forward to it. And my early December, end of November Flosstube, I will go through what that is, what those new starts are. And then I will have my whip parade of what actually is in the works at the end of December. I like that. I love watching whip parades. So you guys can do a whip parade every month, and I'm happy to watch it. Me, without a huge number of whips, to do it at the beginning of each year, the end of each year, whatever, however that flows, is what works well for me. So that's the plan, Stan. November, I go to my quilt retreat that I go to usually twice a year. This year I didn't go to the spring one because of my babysitting duties. I'm going to that next Thursday, and it's close by. I drive back and forth. This time, sometimes I stay there, sometimes I drive back and forth. I kind of can't find my sweet spot. My cat is taking some medication, and my husband would be an unreliable medication giver. Not that he wouldn't want to, but if you've ever had to give a cat medicine, you know how it goes. This morning he spit it out. He knows the sound of the pill bottle, and he looks at me and with dread, and I try to kind of sidle up on him like as if I'm not paying any attention to him. But it'll at some point. I lost my train of thought. I just had a text that I'm going to have to get to. At some point, he's going to start running away when he hears the pill bottle. So I'm going to have to take the pills out and put him like in a dish. He only just gets one a day. So, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, and then what else? Oh, my husband will be away for like a week. Stitching. That's for me is like stitching and sewing in my sewing machine and stitching heaven, because not that anybody's highly demanding of my time in any way, but I don't have to stop and fix supper. I can fix really simple supper early in the evening, and then I'm still whatever. It just works well. I'll probably have a babysitting day in there, and there's my son's birthday, and it's coming up, and yeah, Thanksgiving, things start to interfere, but hopefully we've had the freakiest weather, so I'm only going to keep you for another few seconds. 70s, in the 70s in upstate New York, Western New York. Yesterday was like 75 on Halloween. I can remember with my oldest daughter, the first time I took her trick-or-treating, we were slogging our way through snow. And we can have snow by Halloween. And we're supposed to have 70s into next week too. It is so strange. It just feels strange. Today I I think we got up, it was in the 40s, and now it's in the 50s, and it's windy and maybe some rain, but so it's pretending to be fall, but we can't shake summer. I'm worried we won't have a real fall. It'll just turn into winter. But be that as it may, I can't control it. We have a nice house with heat. So, life is good. So, all right, everybody, enjoy the month of November, and we'll talk to you soon.